Let's get started. So thank you everyone for joining us for today's webinar, Motivating Continuous Learning with Digital Credentials. My name is Cody, I'm from Accredible, and I'll be your host for today. If you're not familiar with Accredible, we are the world's leading digital certificate and digital badging software. Over 1,600 leading organizations like Google, Slack, Sage, S&P Global, Skillsoft, and more trust us to issue their digital badges and certificates, and we issue millions of credentials each month. If you have any questions for us, please post them in the Q&A window, which is accessible in the panel on the side or bottom of your screen. I'll be monitoring those questions as we go, and if I don't get to one of your questions right away, don't worry. I'll take some time near the end of this webinar to answer as many of your questions as possible. Please note, the webinar is being recorded, and we will send the recording out to you after the webinar is over. All right, let's get started. The workforce is changing. Traditional education used to be enough to get started and remain in a long-term career, but with the increasing segmentation and addition of job roles, traditional certificates no longer provide a high-resolution image of a candidate's skills, knowledge, or abilities. Individuals are turning to professional development opportunities that allow them to reskill or upskill faster and more affordably in targeted areas, enabling them to successfully move the needle on their career. According to research carried out by Citrix, this has introduced an increased demand for continuous learning in order to remain relevant in the global job market. A reported 82% of employees and 62% of HR directors said that they believe that workers will need to reskill or upskill at least once a year to maintain a competitive advantage. So in this webinar, we're going to explore what continuous learning is, why it's important, how digital credentials promote continuous learning, and how you can use your digital credentials to motivate candidates to pursue continued learning through your programs. All right, let's begin by answering the question, what is continuous learning? Continuous learning or continuing education is the ongoing process of gaining new skills, knowledge, and experience for either professional or personal reasons. It can be self-motivated through online courses, come in the form of casual social learning, take place within an organization, or just be a personal desire to pursue lifelong learning. Continuous learning benefits the individual in their professional life by enabling them to gain new knowledge and skills that can improve their competence and personal performance. They might choose continuous learning to support their career development by making them eligible for a promotion or enabling them to pursue a new career path. It can help professionals stay current with the latest technologies and remain marketable in evolving environments, or simply be a pursuit of personal enrichment by extending their knowledge into areas outside of their day-to-day job responsibilities. So for organizations, the development of a learning culture then is an effective way to improve company-wide performance and innovation. The more knowledgeable the workforce is, the more they can contribute to the growth of the organization. And organizations that invest in learning and development opportunities see better retention and satisfaction. The more an organization invests, the more they see. So 76% of employees then say a company would be more appealing if it offered additional skills training to its staff. They see this as a company willing to invest in their career development and feel more valued as a result, making them more likely to stay with an organization longer than if they were working for an organization that doesn't provide these opportunities. Retention rates rise by 30 to 50% for companies with strong learning cultures. And it's, of course, also cheaper for organizations to invest in current employees than going through the process of hiring and training new staff. I think it's an average of $4,000 that a company spends to hire a new employee, and I don't think that estimate includes onboarding time. So what parts of digital credentials play in continuous learning? We'll start by briefly outlining what digital credentials are. They are the modern evolution of paper-based certificates, such as diplomas, degrees, certifications, membership badges, and awards for the online world. Digital credentials are, by nature, simple to award, manage, and verify. And some organizations choose to do only digital badges or only digital certificates, but um, many of the organizations that we work with choose to issue both. And they do that in the way of a more formal digital certificate and an easy to embed digital badge. Digital credentials are used to engage learners, enhance learning experience through incentivizing awards that are used to illustrate growth. Digital credentials motivate candidates to complete certification programs by offering them a valuable, verifiable award that they can share to their social and professional networks to showcase their new skills and knowledge, and add to their resume and LinkedIn profile to provide evidence of demonstrable skills. They can add their digital credentials to their email signature to show their competency or affiliation with a professional organization, or add them to digital wallet cards on their smartphone to present at job sites as eligibility to work. For the recipient, their digital credential provides more detail on the depth of their gained knowledge or demonstrable skills through contextual metadata that's included on a dedicated digital credential page and embedded into a digital badge image. And this provides a better understanding of their abilities to their manager during performance reviews or to third parties such as recruiting agencies when looking to enter a new career. Their digital credential is always available and removes the concern around it being misplaced, damaged, or requiring a costly replacement like a physical certificate. For the issuer, digital credentials provide powerful support to their marketing efforts, as shared digital credentials are visible to professionals within their own target audiences, helping to drive revenue through referrals and encourage program growth. They also drastically reduce the time spent issuing and managing certificates through automation and integration with current platforms. And in most use cases, completely eliminate the costs of printing, packaging, and posting physical credentials to certificates. So, how do digital credentials promote and encourage learners to pursue continuous education? Learner preferences are changing, and issuers need to respond to the increasing demand for high quality learning experiences. Candidates are less engaged by long form lectures. They want gamified, short form learning opportunities that enable them to upskill or reskill faster. 67% of learners prefer gamified classes and learning experiences over the traditional education methods, while 83% of workers who received gamified training reported increased motivation. We live in an always on, one click world, and candidates don't want to wait days or weeks for their certificates. They want to celebrate their achievements in the moment with their peers, family, friends. They want that instant gratification. So digital credentials then enhance that learning experience by providing instantly deliverable rewards that are received by email moments after the candidate met the target goal criteria, whether it's achieving a passing mark on an exam, completing a module, or successfully submitting an assignment. Their digital credentials are verifiable in one click without the need to wait from a response from a credentialing department or request additional, sometimes costly transcripts. Digital credentials can be used to gamify the learning journey through the delivery of digital badges for the individual module completion, leading to a final digital certificate for completing the program. Degrees are expensive to obtain and take between 2 to 4 years usually to complete. They don't fully prepare candidates for increasing job segmentation and are often out of reach for individuals who are already in work or have family commitments. And as a result, college enrollments are down by nearly 1 million since the start of the pandemic and by nearly 3 million over the last decade. Today's learners are seeking affordable, targeted awards that bring value to their resume and help them to progress in their career. They want to fill the gaps in their skill set and improve their opportunities to enter specialized roles. Digital credentials help make education more accessible for a wider audience. With Accredible specifically, our per recipient pricing, it becomes more cost effective for issuers to break their programs into manageable micro learning opportunities. And that's because no matter how many credentials a recipient earns within a billing cycle, the issuer only spends one credit on that recipient. The issuer can also offer versatile courses with stackable micro credentials that enable candidates to pursue the level of skill they need. And that enables candidates to build a portfolio that accommodates a specific level of complexity in a topic or across multiple topics. So, for example, an individual looking to progress their competence in Microsoft Office products may need to understand the basics in Excel, but need to reach an expert level of knowledge in PowerPoint. Organizations benefit from targeted training that allows their employees to put their skills into practice faster without creating wasted training spend and time as a result of broad training programs. So candidates gain access to more affordable education that enables them to learn around their work-life commitments. All right. I have one question here on the per recipient pricing. If I didn't explain that well enough, the idea is that no matter how many credentials someone earns, so let's say they go through Word level 1, 2, and 3, they take those 3 courses, they earn 3 certificates. You get billed for that one recipient, not the 3 courses they take. Hopefully that's a good enough explanation. All right. How can organizations utilize digital credentials to encourage their alumni to return and reskill or upskill through their programs? The first step is ensuring you own all the credentials tied to you as the issuer, so recipients know your brand conveys value. Typically, physical credentials are out of the issuer's control once they've been received by candidates. If the issuer needs to revoke a credential, they have to trust the candidate to return or destroy a certificate. If the issued physical credential expires, they have to trust their recipient will return and update their knowledge rather than spoof or edit the expiration date, which can be done easily through photo editing programs. So physical and PDF credentials both have a low barrier to fraud, which can lead to harm to the issuing organization's reputation. Digital credentials have a high barrier to fraud, especially blockchain credentials, which are effectively impossible to hack, and doing so would require more computing power than is available in the world, essentially. Digital credentials provide increased control as well. You as the issuer can set an expiration date or send prompted automated emails to a recipient when a credential is nearing expiration, and send another when the expiration date is passed. And once past the expiration date, the credential is going to be updated with a clearly visible expired banner and can no longer be verified. And this, of course, motivates candidates to return to keep their career advancing credentials up to date. And you as the issuer, of course, can also easily revoke credentials where necessary, and you would see the same sort of red banner on that credential on the live site. The market for professional certification and product training is growing increasingly competitive. Issuers need ways to ensure their brand remains at the forefront of their recipient's mind when they're pursuing continuous education or looking to refresh their knowledge and skills. Accredible's Spotlight Directory enables you as the issuer to build a customizable, searchable hub of certified industry experts. Being featured in an industry leader's directory is a career-defining event for candidates. It enables them to be found by recruiters and employers looking for certified professionals. It showcases the roles already achieved by their industry peers. With the option to exclude expired credentials, alumni have increased motivation to return and re-earn their credentials to ensure they keep their place in the directory and don't miss out on potential career advancing opportunities. Once a recipient has completed a course, a lack of visibility on where they should go next could mean the candidate becomes unengaged and doesn't pursue any further programs or starts a new learning journey with a competing certification provider. Issuers need to provide clear guidance that defines the recommended next steps for a candidate and motivates them to continue progressing in their chosen professional development pathway. At Accredible, we provide the ability to build credential collections, often referred to as pathways by other providers. So collections enable you as the issuer to showcase to candidates what credentials should be earned and when they should be earned, creating linear or non-linear pathways of credentials which guide the recipient to the next step from the credential itself and enable the recipient to present to the rest of the world which credentials they've earned from that collection. For issuers that are charging on a per course basis, this helps to drive revenue by encouraging and incentivizing individuals to understand what the next step is by linking straight from the credential they've just received on the credential page or from the credential delivery email. And additionally, using our learner flow tool, issuers gain insights into how their candidates are progressing through collections, where they enter pathways, and most importantly, where they stop. And that allows them to create the necessary intermediary courses that could ease the complexity between levels or increase the difficulty of intro courses that have led to unengaged candidates. All right, so to summarize, digital credentials help issuers re-engage alumni and motivate continued education by meeting the changing demands of candidates for gamified learning experiences that can be undertaken around work-life commitments. The savings gained in time and spend from switching to digital credentials and per unique recipient pricing makes it more cost-effective for you as the issuer to break programs into manageable micro-learning modules that facilitate targeted learning. The increased control over credential expiration and validity increase the visibility of out-of-date credentials, encouraging learners to return and refresh their skills, and helping to drive revenue and program growth. Using Accredible, issuers can create a customizable, searchable industry directory of certified professionals that serves as a career-defining event for the candidates and encourages them to keep their credentials valid in order to be featured. And finally, the ability to create collections or learning pathways provides clear guidance for candidates on what the next recommended step in their learning journey is and how they can continue learning to benefit their professional development. All right, now we'll open things up to your questions. If you have a question you haven't asked yet, please post it in the Q&A window. I'll try to get to as many of your questions as possible here, and I do apologize in advance for paraphrasing any of your questions. All right, the first question that I see here, will the recording for the session be available to us? Yes, this is being recorded. We will send out a copy of that recording to you after the webinar is over. That may not be immediately, but you will have a recording to the webinar. All right, this next one is from Chris. So Chris asks, can you provide me with examples of universities that are doing this? I'm assuming that doing this refers to using Accredible or collections and digital credentials. Let me know if that wasn't the case. MIT is one. They use Accredible in their Sloan School of Management, Harvard X, Cambridge, UC Berkeley, NYU, the University of Chicago, USC, the University of Florida, and Purdue. I think I could go on, but I imagine I might be boring some of you with that. So Chris, if you want some more information here or just links to examples, let me know in the Q&A. And that goes for everyone. Just make sure you give me an email address we can send those examples to. All right. The next question that I have here, who manages the learning pathway dashboard? Is it something that the organization is personalizing, or is Accredible populating that information after someone gets a digital credential? So the learning pathway dashboard that we were just looking at in that previous slide is something that you as the issuer get to see, and that is automatically generated for you so that you can very quickly for any of your courses, see where people are falling off, where people haven't completed or moved forward in the process. So that is something that you can talk to any sort of Accredible success manager about if you have questions about it or want to dive into more detail. I can put you in touch with an expert for that, Lauren, if you would prefer. Just let me know in the chat. All right. The next question that I see here is, how should we guide learners to the next course? It's ultimately your choice. One of the great things that you can do when a student succeeds is give them another goal to reach, right? So if I complete a fundamentals of IT security course, I get my email with my digital certificate, and that email prompts me to share the credential, but it also has a link out to the next level in the course or the next step. So now I have a clear step to go and take intermediate IT security, and that's going to just give me something else to do. And it's coming when I'm motivated, I'm in a good mood, I've just passed my course, I've received my award. So that sort of point in time helping push is, I think, one of the most effective ways to do it. Like any good campaign, that shouldn't be the only thing that you're doing. It's just a more effective means of getting someone to take action. All right. The next question that I'm looking at here is from Susanna. This is, does Accredible integrate well with LMS systems like Canvas? Yes, Canvas is actually one of our most used integrations. We also integrate with a number of different LMSs and LXPs. So Thinkific, Brightspace D2L. We have an integration with Blackboard that very recently launched, Docebo. So chances are, if you are using an LMS system, we either have a native integration for that, or we would have the ability to hook you up to it. So that would be something that we can also help you with through the use of integrations that we have through a product called Zapier. It's basically an API for people that aren't developers. I can use it, so that should tell you how easy it is. So essentially, if you have an LMS system, we can connect to it. And if you are using Canvas, that is one of our more popular integrations, and I can have somebody help you with that setup if you need it. All right, the next question that I have here. Okay, this one is more of a statement than a question, but I do want to touch on this. And this is from an anonymous attendee. This one says, we've never seen a fake version of our credentials. And I think this came in right around the time that I was talking about security. So that's kind of the point, right? That you've never seen a fake version of one of your credentials. If I'm trying to fake my way into a role saying that I passed your course, I'm not going out of my way to show off the fake credential. We don't know what we don't know at the end of the day. So chances are you don't know about most of the times people are sharing their credentials either, right? Let's say you're sending a PDF or a paper certificate out to people. Those are ghost credentials. They produce ghost shares because you as the issuer have no idea what's happening with the credential. You don't know where it's being shared, if somebody's actually sharing it, if they've thrown it into the trash. Your learner could be doing whatever they want with that. They could be changing an expiration date with whiteout or Photoshop. You wouldn't know. I think the best thing I can say here is that there's an infamous ADP study where I think it was out of the 2.5 or 2.6 million background checks, about 23% of people had falsified credentials or license details. So almost a quarter of people who knew they were getting a background check done had falsified credentials. So while it may not be right in your face to see it happening, statistically, somebody is falsifying credentials or attempting to say that they have credentials from you. All right. Hopefully that was a good framing around that issue. If you have any more questions on security, I would love to have another question and maybe sending one through non-anonymously, but you can send it anonymously if that makes you more comfortable. All right, the next question I have here is from Nubia, and that would is, where would be the best place for the directory to sit, on an LMS site or on a separate site that isn't linked to the LMS where people can be searched? This is a great question. There are a couple of different reasons to separate the two pieces. One of the main ones for us is the ability for the Spotlight directory that Accredible has to be baked into your site and your learner's experience. And what I mean by that is the Spotlight directory that you can get with Accredible is going to look and feel like it is directly your own. There's a ton of different options that you have there. You can go through and realistically customize to your heart's content what you want that to look like. So Google Cloud Certified is a customer that has a Spotlight directory with Accredible, a pretty good example. And they have tens of thousands of learners. People can create their own profiles. They can go in there and you can have links to their overall wallet. So somebody would be able to go from that profile to see what other credentials they might have. And you as the issuer can control what tags go into somebody's learning, what skills specifically they should be tagged with. So I would say your level of control over both branding and what's going on in the individual profiles is going to be better with Accredible than sitting on a learning management system site. You can also tailor your Accredible Spotlight directory in other ways. I won't take up too much time going through this, but I think this is a great conversation for you to pick up with somebody who's a little bit more technically advanced than I am. If you don't mind, I'll send out the information there to you. If you don't want me to do that, just let me know. All right. I'm not seeing any other questions coming through in here right now, so I am going to go ahead and move forward. We do have two questions that are outside the scope of this webinar. So if you have a question we didn't get to, please note somebody on our team is going to reach out to you right after this is over in order to answer that for you. Thank you everyone again for joining us. If you do want to learn more about the benefits of digital credentials, I would say please join us in future webinars, or right now you can head over to our website, accredible.com, and download some of our existing resources. You can also get in touch with our experts from any time from our website, or you can sign up for a trial account of our software, and that trial gives you everything you need to test out Accredible. We've helped hundreds of organizations like Google, Slack, Sailor Academy, Skillsoft leverage digital credentials to solve problems like this, so I'm confident we can help you. And if you do want to have a call with somebody right away, on our website, if you go to book a demo, you can actually schedule a call, a 15-minute intro call with somebody directly. So thank you all again for attending. Hopefully this has been really informative for you, and I appreciate all of you joining us. Finally, have a great day.